Let's look at an example in which we will create objects using literal notation. This is what the example looks like without any JavaScript. So it's a very simple page that's simply displaying some HTML content on the page. This is what the HTML looks like. So in my body tag I have an H1, I have an H2, and then I have some paragraph tags, and within the paragraph tags I have a span tag that has an ID of hotel name, and in addition to that I have another span tag that has an ID of rooms. So after we see the text location and rooms left, the span tag is coded into the HTML, although nothing actually appears within the span tag because we haven't created any content. The content is going to be created by our JavaScript. So I have some script tags already on my page. I'm going to enter my JavaScript and then we'll talk about what's happening here. Here's the JavaScript that we're going to use. The first thing we do is we create an object called hotel. This represents a hotel called the Beach View, and this hotel has 30 rooms, 22 of which have been booked. Next, the content on the page is going to be updated with data from this object. It shows the name of the hotel by accessing the object's name property and the number of vacant rooms using the check availability method. Inside the check availability method, you can see that we are using the this keyword, and that's because it exists inside the function. It already knows that we're talking about this particular object, and these are the properties that we want to access for this object. Down here is where we have the JavaScript that's going to update the HTML. So here we create some variables. This is element name and element rooms, and we make these equal to the document.getElementById, which allows us to find a named ID on our page, in this case hotel name, which is the ID of this span tag, and rooms, which is the ID of this span tag. So we have gotten that element, and then here we're going to update that HTML tag with the property. So we're making our variable element name, and we're going to use the .textContent built-in method for JavaScript, and we're going to make it equal to the hotel.name. So here we're using the dot notation to get the value of whatever the hotel.name is. So in this case, inside of our span tag, it should populate with the Beach View North. And then the same thing's happening down here where we get the element, and then we're going to update the HTML with the property of the object. So in this case, we're getting the hotel's check availability, and of course it's performing this calculation, taking the total rooms, subtracting the booked rooms, and then regurgitating the information. So if we save this page and if we view it in the browser, you can now see that the page has changed. This content right here is being populated dynamically from our JavaScript. So this is just a simple example that is illustrating how we can use the dot notation to make changes on our HTML page.